विष्णुवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। कुन्ती उवाच नमस्ते पुरुषं त्वाद्यम् ईश्वर प्रकटे परम् अलक्ष्यं सर्वभूतानां अन्तर्बहिरवस्थितं मायाजवनिकाच्छन्नम् अज्ञातोक्षजम् अव्ययम् नालक्ष्ये मूढदृशा नटो नाट्य यतोधरा। तथा परमहंसानां मुनीनाममलात्मनं भक्तियोगविधानार्थं कथं पश्येमहि श्रियः। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। नमो पंकजनाभाय नमो पंकजमालिने नमो पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजाङ्घ्रे। यथा ऋषिकेशो खलेन देवकी कंसेनारुदोति चिरां सुचर्पिता। विमोचितं च सः आत्मजा विभुम् वयेवानाथेन मुहुर्विपद्गुना। विषाद महाग्ने पुरुषाद दृष्टा असत्सभाया वनवास पृच्छत। मृदे मृदे अनेक महारथास्त्रधा द्रोणी अस्त्ररथा च स्नेहरि अभिक्षिता। Okay, so we have done first 7 verses. We will continue. We will first study and then we will revise it. We will repeat and then later we will revise it. Because I won't be able to proceed then. We have to complete this canto this year. So Kunti Maharani, first she is offering obeisances. She is establishing how Krishna is the Purusham, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he cannot be known by people in general because of the curtain, the veil of Maya Devi. But he can be known by those who are the most advanced transcendentalists. Muninam Amalatmana. And what is the process of knowing Krishna? Is Bhakti Yoga Vedana. And then she talks about Krishna's appearance and how Krishna appears in the house of Devaki and Vasudev. And from Devaki and Vasudev, he is transferred to Nanda and Yashoda. And then she also contrasts about the fortune, the reciprocation, the profuse reciprocation that she received from Krishna in terms of the protection, the personal safeguard that was offered by Krishna to Kunti and her sons. She remembers, she acknowledges in her heart, she had an heart full of gratitude. So she mentions all those tribulations, all those sufferings, all those situations where the Pandavas were put into difficulty, but Krishna personally came and rescued them. Krishna has declared emphatically, Name Hatya Pranashyati. And we see that very, very emphatically being exercised by Krishna in the case of Pandavas, and Kunti Devi very heartily acknowledges and she feels herself very, very fortunate. the personal protection offered by Krishna. Okay, so we have done till verse number 24. 24. So we'll go further. So because Krishna has always stood by the side of Pandavas, more so in the situations of sufferings and tribulations and adversities. So you see, what is her desire? What is her aspiration? Very, very different from all others. So Kunti Devi is very convinced with her. She has really experienced Krishna. What it means to experience Krishna. We just have information about Krishna. But Kunti Devi has experienced Krishna in her life, in her situation of calamities and adversities. So she is so convinced that if there is a calamity, if there is an adversity, if there is a dangerous situation, Krishna is personally there to protect her. So what is her prayers? She says, vipadaḥ santu śaśvat, tatra jagad-guro, bhavato darśanam syād, apunar bhava-darśanam. So as we see, she was going down the memory lane to what all happened in their life, what all calamities, one after the other. There was a series of uninterrupted calamities forced upon her by the Kauravas and others. But in that situation, because Krishna always stood by the Pandavas, giving him personal protection and shelter, so she is seeking vipadaḥ santu śaśvat. That, my dear Lord, may these calamities, may this suffering, may these tribulations happen in my life. Vipadaḥ santu śaśvat. Let it come over and over again and again. Why? Because Krishna is, you are tatra jagad-guro. You are the guru, you are the teacher, you are the master of the entire universe. So if there is difficulty, if there is suffering, if there is tribulations, so one thing is sure. What is sure? Bhavato darśanaṁ. So whenever we will be in trouble, whenever we will be in difficulty, whenever there will be an imminent danger, a threat to our life, what is for sure? Bhavato darśanaṁ. We will be benefited, we will be greatly privileged to have your personal audience. You will appear. Whenever there was a calamity, when Draupadi was being disrobed, so Krishna appeared in the form of unlimited sari. When Durvasa came, Duryodhana had plotted so that he may get Durvasa curse the Pandavas. Krishna appeared. And Krishna resolved it. So in every situation, she is remembering that if there is vipada, then what is there is darshanam. So she is seeing the better part of the suffering. She is not seeing the suffering as suffering. She is seeing the suffering as an opportunity to get the audience of the Supreme Lord. And what it means to get the audience of the Supreme Lord? Apunar bhava-darśanam. Bhava means this material existence. So if we have the audience, if we get to have the opportunity to associate with the Lord, then there is no possibility to have apunar bhava-darśanam. Then there is no possibility of coming back in this material existence. So that means having audience of the Lord means termination of material existence. So she is such an intelligent lady. So she is welcoming. She is rather aspiring. She is desiring. She is actually begging Krishna that vipadaḥ santu śaśvat. I wish that all calamities would appear again and again. What are the calamities? He is in a way wanting a repeat of what has happened to them. They were poisoned. So she said, let it be poisoned again. Let my son Bhima be poisoned again. Maha-Agni, let me be put in a place where we are set on fire. So all those calamities, let my daughter-in-law be disrobed again. So whatever calamities they have suffered, he is saying, vipadaḥ santu śaśvat. Śaśvat means which is eternal. So nothing in this material world is eternal. Agama apaino anityas. Shanti shasva bharat. Matra sparshas kaunteya. Shito ushno sukha dukkhada. So she is not saying that please terminate my suffering. She is saying rather that you perpetuate my suffering. Let my sufferings come again and again. Why? Because being in a suffering situation, what is sure for us that we will have your personal association. We'll have your personal protection, and the Pandavas are fully dependent on Krishna. See the confidence of Kunti Devi. Her faith, her trust in Krishna. That no one has ever in history, ever, not in present, has ever offered such prayers. Like Kunti Devi is vipadaḥ santu śaśvat. Let my sufferings be repeated again and again. She's praying. I wish all those calamities would happen again and again so that we could see you again and again. Bhavato darśanaṁ yat syād. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and death. So this is the aspiration of a pure devotee. And he does not want, if the other says, let me suffer my lot. Because if I suffer, then in that suffering situation, there is all possibility that I will seek shelter. I will seek shelter. I will fully depend the state of being helpless. So if we are in a state of being helpless, then we seek help from the Supreme Lord. We will see further. So this situation will not happen with those who do not have this situation in their lives. So she is very intelligent lady. She will speak, the next verses will come, will make it more evident. So let's see Prabhupada's purport. The Prabhupada says generally those who are distressed, needy, intelligent or inquisitive, and who have performed some pious activities, worship or begin to worship the Lord. What clue do you get from this opening statement of Srila Prabhupada? Those who are distressed, needy, intelligent or inquisitive, and those who have performed some pious activities, they have some inclination to worship the Lord. Jaldi bolo, you should be able to detect it immediately. What is Prabhupada talking about? Yes, madam.
मुझे अर्थ से जिज्ञासु ज्ञान.
Very good. Very good. See how Prabhupada is presenting it. What is the word used for Jnani? Quickly.
Intelligent.
Very good. Intelligent. Needy.
अर्थ.
Distress.
डिस्ट्रेस अर्थार्थी.
Arthat. Good. Others who are thriving on misdeeds only, regardless of status, cannot approach the Supreme Lord due to being misled by the illusory. Very important aspect is those who have performed some pious activities. So unless and until one has punya, that is why what Krishna says, Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukritino arjuna. They have to be sukrit. Sukriti. Kriti means meritorious work, Prabhupada says, or pious works. So don't think anyone and everyone who is distressed will come and take shelter of Krishna. What do people do, those who are distressed? What shelter do they take? They go to bars, drink, or they go for intoxications. They cannot go to the Supreme Lord until they have Sukriti. Very important. These four types of people, they have performed some pious activity in their past life. So that Sukriti pushes them towards the Supreme Lord, not otherwise. Others who are thriving on misdeeds, only regardless of status, cannot approach the Supreme due to being misled by the illusionary energy. Therefore, for a pious person, if there is some calamity, see Prabhupada's purport. For a pious person, if there is some calamity, there is no other alternative than to take shelter of the lotus feet of the. What is that song? Dukh mein, sukh mein na koi. Dukh mein kya? What is that?
सुख के सब साथी दुख में ना कोई.
No, everything just said that when there is distress, when there is calamity, everybody runs towards the Lord. And when he is in good time, they happily forget the Lord. दुख में सिमरन सब करे, सुख में सिमरन करे ना कोई. सुख में सिमरन यदि करे तो दुख काहे को होए. This is the verse. And who is the acharya for this principle? Is Srimati Kunti Devi. Isn't it? दुख में सिमरन सब करे, सुख में सिमरे ना कोई. सुख में सिमरन यदि करे तो दुख काहे को होए. This principle is given originally by Kunti Devi here. So that is the Prabhupada writes many places that she is the most intelligent living. Constantly remembering the lotus feet of the Lord means preparing for liberation from birth and death. If one is remembering the Lord, one is praying to the Lord, one is seeking shelter to the Lord, then one is preparing himself for his return, from his liberation from this cycle of birth and death. Bhavato darśanam syād, apunar bhava-darśanam. Therefore, even though there are so-called calamities, they are welcome because they give us an opportunity to remember the Lord, which means liberation. There is a very beautiful verse of Brahmaji, where Brahmaji gives this assurance to one and all when he's praying to Krishna after the Brahma Vimohan Lila. Very beautiful verse. Who remembers the verse? There he is also giving the same principle. Very, very nectarine verse. From the 10th canto, 14th chapter. Tatte nukampam susumikshamano. Find out this verse. Manoram. Punjane vatpitam vipaknam. Ridabhagvapubhi vidadam namaste. Jive deyo mukti pade sadayana. I think it is 10, 14, 8. Says Tatte nukampa. So when Krishna gives specially favor to anyone, so what he does, he brings calamities into their life. Yeah, by Krishna's mercy, got the verse right. My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reaction of his past deeds, and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart. Rit means the heart. Rit. Vak is words. And Vapubhi is body. Is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. The verse is very deep. He says, Jive Teyo. If he just continues to tolerate, so what will he receive? Mukti Pade. He is on the track of liberation. And not just he is on the track of liberation, liberation has become his rightful claim. Mukti Pade Sadaya Bhav. Hare Krishna, stop it. Acharya gives an example. If if a boy has very rich father, so what he has to do to receive the richness of the father, all the wealth of the father? What he has to do? Think intelligently, don't think foolishly. What he has to do? To inherit all the riches of the father. Yes, Darshan.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, he should be most obedient to his father.
Forget that. Even if he is disobedient. I said, don't think with your engineering brain. What he has to do? Come on. He has to just continue living. He should not die before his father. That's all. If he continues to live and his father leaves, everything of his father becomes his. Nothing else. That is called daya-bhava. The one who is able to tolerate the sufferings as the blessings from the Lord. See how she is considering the suffering as a blessing. That she is inviting the suffering. Vipadaḥ santu śaśvat. Let the sufferings come again and again. Because suffering means that I am getting a confirmation that I don't have to come here again. I don't have to be in this cycle of birth and death. So therefore, even though there are so-called calamities, they are welcome because they give us an opportunity to remember the Lord, which means liberation. Only Lord Krishna and Lord Vishnu can give liberation. What is the verse? Who remembers the verse? Mukti pradata sarvesham Vishnu aradhana. There's only one person who can award liberation. That is Lord Vishnu or Krishna, no one else. Because all of them are within this bhava. So how can they release others? No demigods can do that. So Kunti Devi is very intelligent. So Prabhupada says, one who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, which are accepted as the most suitable boat for crossing the ocean of missions, can achieve liberation as easily as one leaps over the holes made of the hooves of the calf. This is another beautiful verse. Which verse is this? Very famous verse. You should be knowing. Prabhupada quotes it so many times. Dayashil. Prabhupada quotes it in so many times in Bhagavad Gita also. Okay, go ahead, Ravindra Prabhu. Or it is Priyanka. अरे जोर से बोलो भाई, सुनाई नहीं दे रहा.
समाश्रिताय पदपल्लव प्लवम महत्पदम पदम यशो मुरारी भवाम्बुधिर्वत्स पदम परम पदम 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 यद्व्यपदां तेषां.
क्या हो. You made my day. Samashrita ye pad pallava plava. Plava means the boat. Samashrita, one who has taken shelter. What kind of shelter? Samyak rupena ashrita. He is completely and fully dependent. Samashrita ye pad pallava plava. Who has taken to the lotus feet of the Lord. And here Prabhupada is quoting that verse. You see, when you go to study, now you can see, actually Prabhupada put so many shlokas in their purports. Now you can see. And you can relish. The one who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, which are accepted as the most suitable boat. Samashrita ye pad pallava plavam. Plavam is the boat. What purpose? Mahat padam punyo yasho murare. Bhavam buddhir yasya vatsa padam 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 yad vipadaḥ natesham. So one can achieve liberation as easily as one heaps over the holes made by the hoof of a cow. तो गाय का जो बछड़ा होता है ना, गाय के बछड़े के जो पैर होते हैं, कोमल पैर, आपने देखा है? जब गाय चलती है तो उसके चलने से पृथ्वी में थोड़ा सा दबाव पड़ता है, थोड़ा गड्ढा होता है। और गाय का जब बच्चा चलेगा तो उसके पैर के चलने से कितना गड्ढा होने वाला, और उस गड्ढे में आप पानी डालेंगे तो कितना पानी आएगा? 2 ml, 5 ml, 10 ml, 50 ml, ज्यादा से ज्यादा 100 ml, बस। अब 100 ml पानी को क्रॉस करना कितना कठिन है? 100 ml पानी को कितना क्रॉस करना कठिन है? ये पूरा भवसागर वो 100 ml पानी कितना बन जाए? इसके लिए समाश्रिता ये पाद पल्लव प्रवाह महत पदम पुण्यो यशो मुरारी, so which are accepted as the most suitable boat for crossing the ocean of nations. So the ocean of nations can become as the calf's hoof, and can achieve liberation as easily as one heaps over the holes made by the hoofs of a calf. Such persons are meant to reside in the abode of the Lord. ऐसे लोग जा सकते हैं कहाँ? वैकुंठ. They have nothing to do with the place where there is danger is every step. So there is danger in every step in this loka. Our Sampradaya Acharya, Prabhupada ji is Sanstapaka Acharya, but the Sampradaya Acharya is Brahma ji. And Brahma ji is telling us in his realization that padam padam yad vipadam na tesham. This material world, there is danger at every step. And what we think and what we are convinced that for me, there is no danger anywhere. And we live as if we will live forever. He is giving this realization that there is danger every step. So there is an emergency always to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. And Kunti Devi is training us how to take shelter. Always remain in difficult situation. Always remain in a suffering state. Always be situated amidst the calamity so that you cannot forget Krishna. What is the biggest suffering in this material existence is when the jiva forgets Krishna. So one may not forget Krishna. So what one should do? He should always remain in a suffering state so that he takes shelter of Krishna. The material world is certified by the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita as a dangerous place full of calamities. Which verse is this? Quickly. There are 2 verses in Bhagavad Gita. This is not acceptable. All of you should be known. Otherwise, the next line will become applicable. What Prabhupada is going to speak. Which verse is this? What are you thinking? That this is the most wonderful place. Then, where Prabhupada is, Krishna is speaking, there is a dangerous place. Not a suitable place. Yes, Sonika? You have to give proper reference, verse number also.
Prabhuji, I just remember 2 words only.
I know everyone remembers 2 words. That is not sufficient. I will not take that. That is for a beginner. After studying for 5, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years, some of them are more than 10 years. What are they doing? What have they learned? After 10 years, if they have not understood where it is and what it is, that means there is no experience. Only theory. Still, they will be doing the same thing. Puna puna charvita charvanana. Trying to chew the chewed. Why? Because there is no experience. Bolo Dulamani, Dayashil. Which verse is this? At least 100 times I would have told you.
Prabhuji, there are two verses, but total verses I also do not remember, Prabhuji. Sorry.
Why you have not remembered? That is why you are not convinced. This is the verse to forget. Those only people will forget. Prabhupada will speak, who will forget this. Prabhupada gives the example of a slaughtering goat who is very busy in eating the grass. Which verse is this? Bolo quickly, don't waste time.
Prabhuji, one verse Lord tells about the nature of this material world, that is dukhalaya asasvatam, and in the other verse Lord tells that already you have come to this dukhalaya.
So which chapter is
and
Dukhalaya Ma Śaśvatam?
it is 9th chapter, Prabhuji, 9th chapter.
No, wrong. Not in that chapter. It is in the 8th chapter. And in the 9th chapter is Anityam Sukham Lokam Imam Prapasya Bhajasvama. 9.33. See, this is the problem. Conviction is not there in the heart because we don't. अरे कृष्णा बोलोगे कृष्ण के लिए दुखालियम होगा ना, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. लगे रहो, जो रिवर्स डायरेक्शन में है लगे रहो. See what Prabhupada says. Less intelligent person prepare plans to adjust to those calamities without knowing that the nature of the place is itself full of calamities. They have no information of the abode of the Lord, which is full of bliss and without trace of calamity. The duty of the sane person, therefore, is to be undisturbed by worldly calamities, which are sure to happen in all circumstances. Suffering all sorts of unavoidable misfortunes, one should make progress in spiritual realization because that is the mission of human life. The spirit soul is transcendental to all material calamities. Therefore, the so-called calamities are all called false. Prabhupada proves that actually there is no calamity. A man may see a tiger swallowing him in a dream, and he may cry for this calamity. Actually, there is no tiger and there is no suffering. It is simply a case of dreams. In the same way, all calamities of life are said to be dreams. If someone is lucky enough to get in contact with the Lord by devotional service, it is all gain. Contact with the Lord by any one of the 9 devotional service is always a forward step on the path going back to Godhead. So we see how intelligent is Kunti Devi, that she is not, see, it is said now that the pure devotees, they never ask for any personal gain, right? They never ask for any personal possession. But Kunti Devi, what is she asking? She is not asking for any gain. She is asking for suffering. Because in a case of suffering, she will get the highest of achieving Krishna, remembering Krishna and reaching Krishna. Both. In this way, we will remember Krishna and we will reach Krishna. It is always there. Whenever we are pushed, whenever we are cornered, whenever we are humiliated, then what we do? Where do we seek shelter? First, we try on our own because we have more confidence in our own abilities, in our own ideas, in our own plans. And when they are all crushed, then we are forced to take shelter of Krishna. So, Kunti Devi, knowing the conditioned nature of Kali Yuga Jiva, she is advising us that don't ask for anything else from the Lord. If you really want to ask for a situation where you have to suffer. Because in a situation of suffering, there is all possibility that you will remember Krishna, you will worship Krishna, you will seek Krishna's help. So the dependence will be on Krishna. Krishna says, Sarva karmani api sada purvanumad vipashraya mad prasadat avapnoti śaśvatam padam avyayam. 18th chapter and 56th verse. That sarva karmani api sada purvanumad vipashraya. That while performing all activities, depend on you. But we see, in our case, do we depend on Krishna while performing action? No. Because we have very deep-rooted independent mentality. So how to remain dependent on Krishna when we have difficulty? When we know, when we are convinced that this situation cannot be resolved by my own ability, then we will take shelter of Krishna. So she is praying that let the situation of calamity appear again and again. In a way, she is saying, let me never be in a comfortable situation. Because if I be in a comfortable situation, there is possibility that I may not remember. And forgetting you means that I will be pushed in the cycle of repeated birth. So for me, the most comfortable position is that I remain in calamity. But don't try to imitate. Because we do not have the tolerance. Neither do we have the faith in the Supreme Lord. If little bit of adversity comes, you see what is our situation? We start crying and calling out to Krishna. ये क्या कर रहे हैं? हाँ, हम आपके लिए सब कुछ कर रहे हैं और आप हमारे जीवन में क्या कर रहे हैं? What are you doing in my life? Very fortunate are those where Krishna intervenes. There is another beautiful verse in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which says, Yasyaham anugrahami karishye harishye tad dhanam sven. Krishna says that if I show very special favor to someone, then what I do first, harishye tad dhanam sneha. Then I deprive him of all his assets, all his money, and all his relatives. Show that verse. It is 1088 somewhere. Yasyaham anugrahanami harishye tad dhanam sneha. You have heard this verse? Prabhupada, in Prabhupada Leelamrit, when Prabhupada every time lost business, everything was taken away. He could not pay. So then he remembered this word. So Krishna is making some very special anugrahamai. He is giving me some very special blessings in my life. And Prabhupada moved on. He never lamented. Found it? Yasyaham anugrahanami harishye tad dhanam sneha. Oh, it is 9 o'clock. But it's worth to know this verse. Very, very important verse. So we should know what we should ask Krishna. Ten 88 yeah. Exactly the same number. 1088 Why taking so long? Where are you? He's lost. You have laptop, Sonika? You show 1088
Krishna Prabhuji, I can show now. Actually, I got disconnected. Sorry.
Never mind. So come back. Again get connected. This material world, we will always, material nature will always try to disconnect. Yeah. We'll take a little bigger size of the font. very small to read actually. Yes. Okay, we'll go a little fast. I just saw the translation. The personality of Godhead said, if I specially favor someone, I gradually deprive him of his wealth. Then the relatives and friends of such a poverty-stricken man abandons him. In this way, he suffers one distress after another. This is what Kunti Devi is asking. Close it. But Krishna does not this to anyone and everyone, not even to devotees. He does it to very, very special devotees, whom Krishna loves so much that he forces them to come towards him. Very special case. And one of that case is Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada would have easily been the richest man on earth. But every time Prabhupada tried to have success in his business, Krishna ensured that it failed. And then finally Prabhupada understood and he gave it up. Why? Why it is so important to be in a situation of suffering and calamity? Because Jan Aishwarya Shruta Shribhi Edamana Madhapuma. Nayavarhati Abhidatumva Vamakinchara Gochara. So she says that these four things are very big stumbling blocks, are very big obstacle. This is the disqualification for one to take shelter. What is the first obstacle or the disqualification? Is janma. If one has a high birth, if one takes the birth in a aristocratic privileged family, then in that family there is Aishwarya. There are all opulences. Or if one has Shruta. Shruta means he is having knowledge. He is having good education degrees. PhD. And Shribhir. Shribhir means that he is very beautiful. So all these four, Janma, high parentage, birth in a royal family, and having all opulences, having high qualifications of material qualifications of education, having material beauty, edhamana madhapuma. All these are factors for one to become proud. Madha. Madha Prabhupada says intoxicated, maddened. So such people, na eva arhati abhidhatu. So they will never ever have the feeling towards the Lord. Why? Because they will be having the feeling of possessiveness. They possess. What they possess? Either they possess beauty, or they possess good education, or they possess wealth, and high birth also means Brahman. Also that is also Janma. So all these are the factors which will not allow the person to have feelings towards Krishna. One person came today. He represents one of the big companies. It's an Italian company. Few days back, I had gone to his office in Gurgaon. In my life, I have never seen such a opulent office. I've traveled so far outside India also and in many places. I've never seen such a swanky office. And today, I was trying to, inspire him to take that. And he had no interest. No interest. I took him, he came to the temple today. I called him. So he came and I took him for darshan. I asked him, "Aap yahan pehle kabhi aaye?" He said no. I asked him, "Did you go to Vrindavan?" He said no. Where he has been to some foreign country, but he has never been to the temple places to worship Lord. And he hardly has any interest. What he has interest, he has only interest in money, post, position, and so-called success. So these are very, very big stumbling blocks. Janma Aishwarya Shuta Shrivi Edmana Madha Bhuva. Na eva vidyatum ve, because Krishna is Tvam Akinchana Gochara. So those who have the feeling of possessiveness, that they possess any thing of this material world, or they are better than others, so they cannot be Akinchana. Akinchana means that without any material possessions. And Krishna can only be achieved by those who are materially exhausted, who have no material possessions. Okay. Going forward. My Lord, your Lordship can easily be approached, but only by those who are materially exhausted. It's very good. You are jobless. Your wife has left you. Your employer has kicked you. It's good. As per Kunti Devi, it's a very good situation. So that you can take shelter of Krishna. Otherwise, you will be again intoxicated, maddened. Because one who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, this is Janma, great opulence or economic development. The invert today is economic development. High education and bodily beauty cannot address you with sincere feelings. They cannot have feelings towards Krishna. As I was giving you the experience of that person who came, no feeling. Being materially advanced means taking birth in an aristocratic family and possessing great wealth and education and attractive personal beauty. All materialistic men, also women, are mad after possessing all these material opulences. And this is known as the advancement of material civilization. But the result is that by possessing all these material assets, one becomes artificially puffed up, intoxicated by such temporary possessions. Consequently, such materially puffed up persons are incapable of uttering the holy name of the Lord by addressing him feelingly. Even though they may chant, but actually they cannot call out to Krishna because there is no feeling. O Govinda, O Krishna, it is said in the Shastra that by once uttering the holy name of the Lord, the sinner gets rid of the quantity of sin that he is unable to commit. Such is the power of uttering the holy name of the Lord. There is not the least exaggeration in this statement. Actually, the Lord's holy name has such powerful potency. But there is a quality to such utterances. Quality. Quality also means purity. Shuddhana. It depends on the quality of feeling. So who can chant purely? One who has that pure feelings. A helpless man can feelingly utter the holy name of the Lord, whereas a man who utters the same holy name in great material satisfaction cannot be so sincere. A materially puffed up person may utter the holy name of the Lord occasionally, but he is incapable of uttering the holy name in quality. What does quality mean here? What does quality mean?
Attentive chanting.
Hmm?
Attentive chanting.
What is that attentive chanting? What is the
Chant-
quality?
Chant with the
It
heart.
means,
Chanting with the heart.
still more deeper. What did Prabhupada compare chanting with? Yes, Sonika.
Prabhuji, crying out.
Yes, crying out and calling out to the Lord. If one is in a comfortable, good position with possessiveness, how can he call out? Well, it's very difficult to make those who are having all this 4 type of material assets to become devotee. It is not that having these 4 assets, no one can become devotee. But now it is very difficult because they are madhapuma. They are all intoxicated. So that feeling is not there. That calling is not there. That crying is not there. So it is only mechanical. The Prabhupada says. But there is quality to such utterances also. It depends on the quality of feeling. A helpless man can feelingly utter the holy name of the Lord, whereas a man who utters the holy name in great material satisfaction cannot be so sincere. A materially puffed up person may utter the holy name of the Lord occasionally, but he is incapable of uttering the name in quality. Therefore, the 4 principles of material advancement, namely high parentage, good wealth, high education, and attractive beauty are, so to speak, disqualifications for progress on the path of spiritual advancement. The material covering of the pure spirit soul is an external feature, as much as fever is an external feature of the unhealthy body. See Prabhupada's comparison. Prabhupada is saying all this material assets is compared to the fever. The general process is to decrease the degree of the fever and not to aggravate it by maltreatment. So this is the disease condition which is aggravated. Sometimes it is seen that spiritually advanced person become materially impoverished. Materially impoverished means that he becomes materially exhausted. He has no material needs. Na dhanam, na janam, na superi. This is no discouragement. On the other hand, such impoverishment is a good sign as much as the falling of temperature is a good sign. The Prabhupada's genius. The principle of life should be to decrease the degree of material intoxication, which leads one to be more and more illusioned about the aim of life. Grossly illusioned peoples are quite unfit for entrance into the kingdom of God. Okay, so I'll stop here. So we've covered how many? Till yesterday we did 7, today I have done 2. So who wants to repeat the first 7 verses? Go ahead, quickly. It is already late, 9:23. We'll close at 9:30. And I'll try to improve that we start at 8. It is because of me, it is getting late. Yes, Monica.
Krishna Prabhuji. Namaste. Sorry. Kunti uvacha. Namaste purusham tvadyam ishwaram prakrite param alakshya sarva bhutanam antarbahir avasthitam maya javnikachanam agyadhukshajam avyayam na lakshase mudhadresha nato natyadharo yatha तथा परमहंसानां मुनीनां अमलात्मनां भक्तियोग विधानार्थं कथं पश्येमहि स्त्रियः कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रहे यथा ऋषिकेश खलिन देवकी कंसेन रुधाति चिरं सुचार्पिता विमोचा
A little louder. Your voice is.
हरे कृष्ण
Yeah.
यथा ऋषिकेश खलेन देवकी कंसेन रुधाति चिरं सुचार्पिता विमोचिताहं च सह आत्मजा विभो त्वय्येव नाथेन
Tasveva. Very good. Taseva.
It was written Prabhuji Tvayeva.
Tvayeva. Yes. Sorry. You are right. Tvayeva.
Tvayeva nathena muhur vipad ganat.
Vipad Ganat.
Vipad ganat.
Good.
Vishan विषाण महद अग्ने पुरुषाद दर्शनात् असत सभाया वनवास पृच्छतः मृदे 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 अनेक महारथास्त्र ततो द्रोण्यस्त्र तस्य चाक्षमा हरे अभिरक्षिता.
Very good. Very good job. Wonderful. Don't leave it. Keep this momentum going. आज वाले तो बहुत इजी है. ठीक है. जन्मेश्वर्य सुताशी भी एदमाना मधा पुमा. फर्स्ट वर्स एक विपदा संतु ता शाश्वत. विपदा संतु ता शाश्वत. यत्र यत्र जगद-गुरो भवतो darśanaṁ यत् syād apunar भवदर. We have discussed this in such detail. Very good. One Prabhuji. Who will recite? Avanti Prabhu. Dayashil, you are on holidays. You should recite. I am focusing you. Let me see what you are doing for 10 days. You've taken a big holiday.
Kunti uvacha namaste पुरुषम त्वम आद्यम ईश्वर प्रकृते परम आलक्ष्य सर्वभूतानां अंतर्बहि अवस्थितं माया यवनिकाच्छन्नं अज्ञ अदोक्ष च अव्ययम् नालक्ष्य से मृतृषा नटो नाट्यधर यथा तथा 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 परमहंसानां मुनीनाम् अमल आत्मानां भक्ति योग विधानार्थ कथम 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 पश्येमहि निस्त्रिया नमो पंकज कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः नमो पंकजनाभाय नमो पंकजमालिने नमो पंकज नेत्राय नमस्ते नमस्ते नमो पंकजनाभाय नमो पंकज मालिने नमो पंकज नेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रे यथा ऋषिकेश खलेन देवकी कंसेन रुद्ध अति चिरतम सुचार्पिता विमोचितम अहम च सात्मजं विभो त्वएव नाथेन मुहुर्विपद्गणात्.
Very good. One more.
Sorry. One more is विशान महाग्ने पुरुषात् दर्शनात् असत सभाया वनवास करचरात् मृधे मृधे अनेक महार महारथ महारथ अस्त्र द्रणे अस्त्र
महारथ सिंपल ना,
महारथ अस्त्र
मृत्युंजय अनेक महारथ अस्त्ररथ
अस्त्र अथा द्रणे
द्रोणी द्रोणी
द्रणी द्रणी
द्रोणी यार, the son of Drona.
द्रणी द्रणी
द्रोणी
द्रणी
द्रोणी
अस्त्र अस्त्र then चस चस अस्मः हरे अभिरक्षिता.
वेरी गुड,
थैंक यू.
ठीक है, याद कर लो, ठीक है, याद करो. अभी 2 और बढ़ गए कल. ठीक है, थैंक यू वेरी मच. आप सब एफर्ट कर रहे हैं. हाँ, इट इज वेरी इंस्पायरिंग टू मी, क्योंकि ये 2 श्लोक मुझे भी नहीं आते थे. हाँ, मुझे भी आज बिल्कुल टाइम नहीं मिला, लेकिन मैं यही सोच रहा था आपसे पूछने से पहले खुद तो याद कर लो. थैंक यू. हाँ, थोड़ा नहीं, अब की बार पूरे याद करेंगे पक्का. आधे हो जाएंगे कल तक, आधे हो गए, कोई मुश्किल नहीं है. इट इज ऑल अबाउट मेकिंग आवर माइंड एग्री, दैट्स ऑल. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्री कुंती देवी की जय.